Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shania. I basically recorded this entire video and it didn't even save. So here we are, round 2 now. So today's video is a very special one for me, and it has been long awaited. I can't believe we're finally here. I finally get the opportunity to do this video for you guys and for myself and everybody that has heard me obsess over this series for so long. We're finally here. We finally get to talk about the new book that just came out in this series. And if you guys know anything about me, if you've been following along for a long time, then you know that I am super biased when it comes to this series because it is by far my favorite series of all time. And now we're here. I'm so excited. I'm so giddy with joy because I get to talk about it with you guys today. So you guys probably already know what I'm talking about, and you probably already know what I'm talking about from the title and the thumbnail of the video, but we are talking about A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Oh my gosh, we're gonna be talking about this bad boy who is hefty, and I am just beyond excited to talk about it, just beyond. So yes, we have the 4th installment of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas, the best series of all time, and I can't wait to discuss it with you guys today. So a little bit of context behind the video today. I just want to give you guys a little bit of layout on how this is all going to go, this review of mine. So for the first half of the video, I'm going to be sharing you guys my thoughts regarding the book in a non-spoiler manner. So I will be discussing what my overarching thoughts are on the book without talking about any details in the book about what actually happened. But with that, I do want to throw out a disclaimer that even though I will be talking about this book in a non-spoiler manner, I will be talking about the first 3 books in the series and the novella in a very spoiler way. So if you guys haven't read A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, or wow, we knew that I was going to mess that up. We knew I was going to mess that up. Anyways, A Court of Frost and Starlight. If you guys haven't read any 4 of those books, then I will be talking about details regarding those. And so you should probably just not watch any of this video and go read that series, come back, and we'll have a good time. Okay? Also, I think it's important to note that I know that there's some of you out there that did not want to read A Court of Frost and Starlight. This one I have back here, the novella that comes after the 3rd book. And I know some of you guys didn't want to read that because you've heard a lot of bad reviews about it. I still think you should read it just for that wonderful feeling of being in the inner circle and just also catching up with the characters. But also because I don't think you could possibly go into the very beginning of this book without being confused if you hadn't read that one. You would be completely confused going into this one and also other things that pertain to the book later on as well. So basically, long story short, read all the books that come before this one, and then we will not have any spoilers for you guys in the first half of the video. So of course then, for the second half of the video, I will be sharing you guys my vlogging experience of reading this book. So I will be going through my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Oh my gosh, my emotions throughout this book. I will be sharing with you guys my journey through a vlog. So stay tuned for that. If you guys have read the book already, then you guys should definitely watch that because I am spoiling the crap out of this book in that vlog. So just a fair warning for you guys. But anyways, I am very excited to finally have this and finally be able to talk to you guys about it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my non-spoiler review of A Court of Silver Flames. Okay, so my overarching thoughts regarding this book. First off, I feel like I should just tell you guys right off the bat that this 100%, I couldn't in my heart not give it a 5-star review. I couldn't. There are definitely times throughout the book where I was like, I don't think I'm enjoying it as much as I could, and I don't know if it is a 5-star book, but at the end, and for the love that I have for it, I gave it 5 stars. I made a few mistakes going into this book, and I do want to touch on those briefly, but before I do, I'm just going to give you guys kind of a rundown on where we're at and what is really happening in A Court of Silver Flames. So for A Court of Silver Flames, which one, let's just talk about the title. We have A Court of Silver Flames, which is completely opposite from the original trilogy and the novella, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury. No, we, instead of doing A Court of Silver and Flames, we have A Court of Silver Flames, which is fine, and it definitely separates this book from the other books, and it gives you kind of a different outlook on knowing that this book deals with different characters, but it's still, it really throws you for a loop, and it took me some time to get used to it, but I love it just the same. I feel like it's not going to be a video and an honest review of A Court of Silver Flames if I don't talk about the cover, and I'm not going to talk about it that much because we all know, if you're on Instagram or Twitter or even YouTube or TikTok, we've all bitched about this cover like a lot. We definitely have, and it's been a sore subject for a while, but I'm just going to talk about it for a second. I don't hate this cover. I really don't. When it came out, I was like, you know, it's kind of badass. So this one I don't care so much about. What I care more about is how it matches with the other books. So I blocked the rest of them, but like you can see A Court of Mist and Fury and all the rest. Like that's the original cover. And for this one not to match, it does suck. It really does. But I get it. It was a revamp, and they were kind of remarketing the book as an adult series because they realized that the young adult components of the first 3, they're not really young adults. So they were remarketing it, and they made it, you know, more of an adult looking book rather than a YA book. And I understood that completely, and I was fine with it, but I think what the issue is for me is this one doesn't match those, and it doesn't even match the new ones either, the new covers that came out. So they're like red, blue, and green. Like we're still getting the similar colors, but those are in paperback. This is obviously not in paperback. So I'm going to have to wait 6 months or maybe sooner, I'm not sure, on getting this book in paperback just so it matches the other ones. So like this one solely doesn't match those at all. I do want to talk to you guys quickly about the different editions you can get of A Court of Silver Flames. So there are different types out there that you guys can get if you haven't picked one up yet. So I quickly just want to like tell you guys the different ones that you can get. So the one that I have is the Barnes & Noble edition. This one is a exclusive edition. So if you're at Barnes & Noble, just be sure to look and see if it has that sticker on it marking it as an exclusive edition. And that edition does have at the very end of the book an extra little chapter pertaining only to Feyre and Rhys. So it's just like telling you a little bit about current, like something that happened in the book and their thoughts, and just you're getting more of Rhys and Feyre. So if you guys want that one, you guys can definitely pick that one up from Barnes & Noble. You also can get that same edition from Waterstones if you are in the UK, or if you're anywhere else and you want to order it through Waterstones, you can do that as well. I did pre-order my copy from Waterstones. I don't have that copy yet. It got shipped on February 16th, the day that the book was released. So it is not in my possession, and I had to go buy a physical copy from Barnes & Noble instead. But if you guys want to order that through Waterstones or through Barnes & Noble, that's available for you as well. There is one more edition that you guys can buy, and it is through a book company that I am not remembering what it is right now, but I'll have it on the screen for you guys, and I'll have the link for you guys down below if it's still available. If it's not, I'll say something in the comments. But yeah, that edition that you can buy is a special edition that includes an extra chapter at the end that is pertaining to Azriel and his thoughts. So that one is a little bit different, and if you guys can get your hands on that, you definitely should. I actually don't have a copy yet, but I will be hunting one down when I can and if I can. So if you guys have gotten that copy, then like let me know. But otherwise, those are all the special editions you can get. Of course, there's probably some out there where there are signed editions by Sarah J. Maas, and then there's just, you know, your regular editions as well. So you guys can definitely pick whatever you want, but I thought I'd let you guys know what those are. Okay, so now that I got into all of that like housekeeping matters and we're done with that, let's get into my actual thoughts on the book. So when I got the book in my hands, obviously she's big, she's thick. She is 757 pages. She's a big girl. She is one of the bigger books that Sarah J. Maas has ever written, apart from, I think, A Kingdom of Ash, the last book in the Throne of Glass series, and then also A House of Earth and Blood, the newest adult book in her Crescent City series. So it's a big one, it's intimidating, but honestly, I was so excited that it was that long because that just means I get more time in the Night Court. I get more time in Perinthian and this entire world that Sarah J. Maas has built. So I was very ecstatic for that. And even though there were times where I was like, this book is long and I wanted to read it so I can get my thoughts out to you guys as quickly as possible, I just wanted to like stay there forever. So it was amazing, and if you guys are intimidated by its size, don't be, because you will have a good time with it. So I mentioned earlier that there were a few mistakes that I made going into the book, and one of them was that I went into it without reading the first 3 books and the novella prior to it, without rereading those. And I wish I would have. I really do. There were things that I couldn't really recall. I have this broad sense of the world and I know what is happening in those first 3 books, but there were some things that I think I would have picked up on more had I reread those going into it. And trust me, I have reread that series time and time and time again. I love it. It's my go-to when I want a comfort book to read, but I just couldn't recall everything because I hadn't read it in a while. I think my last reread of the series was back in February of last year, so it's literally been like a year, and that's sad. So I definitely should have reread it. If you guys haven't reread the series and you're like me and you just want to jump into it, that's okay. You won't be lost. I just personally think that I should have reread it. I think it would have gotten me even more amped going into it, and I would have been in the world longer, if that makes sense. The other mistake that I made was I went into the book solely focused on Feyre and Rhys. I was into it because I wanted to read about them. I wanted to catch up with my 2 favorite characters, my ultimate OTP, and I just wanted to like hear about them. So I went into the book and I kept reading and I was like, no, I want more Feyre and Rhys. I don't want to read about Nesta and Cassian. I want to read about Feyre and Rhys. I want to know what they're doing. And that was a problem. That was a problem for me because this book isn't about Feyre and Rhys. This book is about Nesta, and this book is about Cassian. It's not about the other ones. Feyre and Rhys had their time. We got 3.5 books about them. But yeah, I went into it just wanting to read about them, and that was the problem. So those were my mistakes going into it, and I just wanted to give you guys a heads up so that you don't make the same mistakes as I did. But it was still, like I said, an incredible book. So going into that, the first thing I want to talk about is one of the most important things to me in not just Sarah J. Maas's books, but just in books in general. And that is, if you guys can't guess it, character development. I love Sarah J. Maas for so many reasons, but the thing that I love about her the most is her character development, how her characters interact with one another, how just a soul character gets through their hardships, their inner turmoil, and everything that they have to overcome, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional. And this book did not lack that in any means. If anything, Sarah is just getting better and better at writing really good characters and really making you feel like you're connected to them on more than just, a reader and book level. Like, you're really feeling them, you really understand them, and you can see even some of yourself in them in a lot of different scenes. I think something that you guys will be really surprised about is Nesta's character in general. I think it's pretty well known that a lot of people just don't like Nesta. I didn't like Nesta going into this, and you guys will hear my thoughts on her and how I feel at the end of the book regarding her character, but know that going into it, I despised her. I despised her so much, and I despised her even though I relate to her probably more than any other character in the series, because she is this hard-pressed, really aggressive, kind of angry person, and she's an older sister, and I have the same qualities, and so I really relate to her, but I despise her. And I think her character and the way she handled herself throughout the entire 750 pages was remarkable, and I think you guys will really enjoy the journey that you guys will take with her in this book. As for Cassian, I think we're seeing a side of him that we've always known about. I don't think he's really strayed from himself in this book. And if you guys love Cassian for, you know, his stubbornness, how loyal he is, and how he's so willing to fight and, you know, destroy any enemy that he has that's facing his family or is putting his family in danger. If you love those qualities about him, then you won't be disappointed in this book, because he is exactly the type of person he's always been. And as for all the other characters in the inner circle, you guys will love them as well. So, I mean, I'm just saying that the character development that Sarah has in this book is remarkable. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, and if you guys have read it already, I think you guys understand where I'm coming from. So, yeah, you know, cheers to Sarah, because she does an amazing job when it comes to her characters, and that is solely probably the reason why I gave this book 5 stars. It had nothing really to do with the plot or with the arching story and the world and whatnot. It had to do with the characters at the end of the day, and especially with Nesta. So yes, 5 stars, hats off to Sarah on that 100%. On the flip side of that, I think one thing I was kind of disappointed about in this book is I could tell that it wasn't as well thought out. I think this book is solely focused on character development, and it's not so much focused on everything else that Sarah's known for writing really well. Sarah has, throughout, you know, Throne of Glass and throughout Crescent City, and also even the first books of A Court of Thorns and Roses, you're getting thrown for surprises quite a bit. Sarah does this really great job of keeping the reader hidden from what her character is or characters are doing in the book, and I always get a surprise at the end or in the middle or beginning or whatnot on the routes and the different things that Sarah does with her books, and this one didn't have that. So I just don't feel like it was as thought out. It wasn't as planned. And she even said that she didn't start writing this book until she was writing A Court of Wings and Ruin, the 3rd book in the series. So you knew that she didn't always plan on writing this book. It just kind of came as an afterthought when she was writing what she originally planned to write. So I think that was kind of upsetting, because it just wasn't as thought out, and there were no twists and turns that I was really expecting throughout the book. I honestly don't know what more I can say without really giving it away. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the vlog section of this video. So I am warning you guys right now, if you have not read it, stop this video, go read it, and come back and you can listen to my thoughts and comment down below what your guys' thoughts are on it as well. But I will say, if you guys do make any comments down below, please head it with spoiler so that nobody else reads it. Yeah, so this is my warning to you guys. I am going to dive into the vlog section. There's going to be spoilers. Leave now or forever hold your peace, and let's get into the spoiler section of this video. Hey you guys, so this is the start of my vlog for A Court of Silver Flames. It's really difficult for me to say A Court of Silver Flames instead of saying A Court of Silver and Flames. I don't know why she just split like the entire sequence of book titles on us, but she did whatever she wanted this time, and that's fine because she is the author. So anyways, to start this vlog, I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit briefly about my thoughts going into the book and how I plan on reading it here on out. So I currently have the book on my Kindle. I'm sure I've already mentioned that I don't have a physical copy yet, but I am going to get one later today, and I will bring you guys along to get that from Barnes & Noble. But anyways, so I'm very, very excited, obviously, to be going into this book. You guys know, if you have watched my channel for a while, that I am obsessed with A Court of Thorns and Roses in the entire series. It is amazing. Love it very much. And the fact that we have a continuation of the series going into more depth on the characters is great. I'm very, very pumped. But there are some things that I'm just like a little bit worried about. So yeah, without further ado, let's just like get into those really quickly. So the first thing that I'm afraid about going into this book is I'm afraid of it being very similar to the previous books. If you guys ever watched my video regarding Sarah J. Maas's release of A House of Earth and Blood, the first one in the Crescent series, a Crescent City series, wow. You guys know that I was very upset with that one because it seemed like there was a lot of overlap between that new book and Sarah J. Maas's other series as well. So very upsetting, and I'm really, really afraid that it's gonna be the same thing with this one. And I hope to God it isn't. I hope that with this new series, well, this continuation of the series in this new book, that we have some new original content coming out of it. Hey guys, so I'm currently at page 138 out of these beautiful 800 pages, and I just got to the part where Cassian basically made a deal with Nesta that if she trains with him for 1 hour, he owes her a favor. Now, also, why is Cassian so dumb not to realize that she obviously didn't want to fight in front of all these Illyrian warriors? Like, why did that take him so long to figure that out? It was obvious to me from the beginning. But anyways, they just struck this deal with each other, and Cassian immediately looks for a tattoo because that is the deal that happens in the Night Court, is if you struck a bargain, or if you make a bargain with someone, you automatically get a tattoo from it. But he says that he gets a tattoo, and there's obviously going to be a matching tattoo on Feyre. Am I wrong in thinking that we've never had matching tattoos when it comes to bargains? I don't remember ever saying that it was going to be a matching tattoo. I just know that when you made a bargain that it would leave a tattoo. But I guess I don't know any instance where it became a matching tattoo, because when Feyre struck her bargain with Rhys in the first book, he didn't have the same tattoo as her. So I don't know, I'm just curious on how the matching tattoo comes in, because when Feyre also made a deal with the Bone Carver and Bryaxis, you didn't know if they had a matching tattoo because they're otherworldly creatures. Like Bryaxis, you wouldn't have known at all because he's like a fog. So I don't know, I'm curious. And then did they ever mention when Rhys made a deal with the Weaver if she had a matching tattoo like behind the ear? I'm curious. I don't remember there ever being a matching tattoo, but I don't know if Nesta has one yet, but Cassian has the thought that she does. So, I don't know. Does anybody remember? Is that a thing? Do they have to be high fae and they make it, I cannot say that, struck a deal? They make a deal with each other and they automatically both get it? I don't remember that. So, I don't know. Somebody please tell me what the answer is. Hey guys, so it is the next day. I obviously suck at doing this whole vlogging thing, but I'm trying. Literally moments ago I stepped on something and my foot is hurting so bad, but I'm gonna try and get through this and give you guys a little bit of an update regarding my reading of A Court of Silver Flames, and also just like my general thoughts and things that happened during the night that I didn't update you guys with. So, okay, so the first thing is that last night I ended up going to Barnes & Noble with my sister, and I got myself a physical copy of the book. That was really exciting just to see it, like, actually release date, see it in person, because if you guys know, I read this series before, or no, not before, but like after all of them had been released at that point. So nothing was like, there was no exciting release date for me in regards to A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So I was just really excited to see this there. So last night after I picked up this from Barnes & Noble, I of course wanted to read the physical copy. So I did end up reading a little bit more in the book. And let's see, I am currently at page 345 and it has gotten good. So let me just try and remember everything that's happened. Right away, the big thing that happened in the space of time between the last update and now that I had been predicting the entire time, and if it wasn't in the book, I would have been pissed, was that Rhys and Feyre are pregnant. Yes, they're pregnant. Of course, you knew that was going to happen because of everything that was leading up in A Court of Frost and Starlight, and for another reason that I don't want to spoil, but if you guys know Sarah J. Maas, you know that she has hinted at the fact that Feyre will be pregnant at some point in her writing at somewhere. I don't want to spoil. Anyways, so we knew that Feyre was going to be pregnant, but I didn't know if she was going to have it in this one, and I would have been really upset if it wasn't. But Feyre's pregnant. It's really exciting. Of course, we know it's going to be a boy. And something else that was really big that just happened in regards to Feyre's pregnancy is that Rhys said that when they conceived their son, that Feyre was in Illyrian form. So she had her wings and whatnot. Therefore, the baby, instead of being a quarter of Illyrian, because Rhys is half Illyrian, instead of him being a quarter of Illyrian, he's actually probably, what is it, like 75% Illyrian technically then, because he is, like, Feyre was Illyrian and then Rhys is half Illyrian, so he's like 3/4 of Illyrian, and basically meaning that the baby is going to be born with wings, and that means that there's going to be a lot of complications at birth, and most of the time both the mother and the baby don't make it. So hopefully that's not a thing. Hopefully we don't have to think about Feyre dying for the bajillionth time. Nesta is obviously going through her problems and trying to figure out her powers and whatnot. And there's been, very recently there was this event that happened where Nesta was having a dream, and she had her powers awoken basically, and Rhys had to come and save the day as always. And Rhys said that he figured out what her power was, and it was just death, like it's pure death. And I don't think that's something new. I swear to God that in A Court of Wings and Ruin that it was already mentioned that Feyre's power, Nesta's power was death. I'm pretty sure like we've already gone through that, right? So I'm not sure why everyone's still like, what is her power? Because I thought we already went over that, but maybe I'm wrong. Love Cassian and Nesta, I always have, but I'm not used to Sarah J. Maas like including smut right off the bat, and we have had some very steamy scenes like already. I'm not at the point yet, I'm sure we'll get to that point, but I'm not at the point yet that Cassian and Nesta, they have not slept with each other yet. They have done everything but actually have intercourse with each other. So I don't know, but it's steamy. Like I think that Sarah J. Maas might be the steamiest she's ever been in this book. I don't think we've ever gotten the level of descriptiveness as we usually have. Also, oh my god, there is a part in the book where Nesta starts imagining having a wonderful time with both Cassian and Azriel at the same time. Wasn't prepared for that. That is a level of steam that Sarah J. Maas has not really branched out to yet. She's hinted towards it a couple times, like being with multiple people at the same time, but to get a description on the possibility of it happening with Cassian and Azriel, I was here for it. I mean, I was here for it. It was something. It was really something. Something else that's interesting, which isn't new for Sarah in any regard, is she's very pro-feminism, and this book is not shying away from that at all. We have Nesta, who is becoming friends with all of these independent women that have suffered in some way or some form by a male. So, whoa, I just lost my lighting. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, so basically we have Nesta, who's become friends with one of the priestesses in the library underneath the House of Wind. I couldn't think of it for a second. The House of Wind, we have that library where all of these women that have been abused by men, and they have found sanctuary in this library. So we have Gwen, who has become Nesta's friend, and I think that's probably a really good friendship for Nesta to have, because she's not having this protectiveness that she has with Elaine, and she's not fighting like she is with Feyre. It's actually a friend for her, and it's someone who's, I don't know if this is the right term, but is weaker than Nesta. You know, Nesta's very strong-willed and determined, and it seems that Gwen is very much like Elaine, but just not her sister, and I think it's a good friend for Nesta to have, and to have someone to look out for. And then we also have Emery, who is basically this badass Illyrian who suffered by her father and getting her wings cut off. So I think those two friendships for her are going to be really good. However, I do predict right now in the book that one of them will die. I have that feeling that one of them's going to die. I don't want Nesta to really go through any more pain, but I think it might happen. And honestly, if nobody dies in this book and there's like a war going on, I think I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. And that just sounds like terrible, but Sarah J. Maas didn't really kill off any important characters in the original trilogy of this series. So I just think that she's going to do it at some point. And if she doesn't, then it just doesn't seem realistic to me anymore. Like, we went through one war, nobody really died. That was important. And if we go through a second war, nobody dies. That's important. It's just, I don't think it's going to be great. Cat! I also predict that we're going to get a lot more of Azriel and more happening at some point, like towards the end of the book. I think we're going to start seeing more interactions showing that Azriel is not in love with Mor anymore. That's my prediction. I think he's falling out of love with her and falling in love with Elaine. So, I don't know. I'm excited about that. But yeah, those are my thoughts right now. I'm going to keep on reading, and I will check back in with you guys shortly. Hey guys, quick thought here while I'm reading this. I'm in a battle scene right now with Cassian and Azriel. And does anyone else think that, like, their siphons, is it siphons? That's how I pronounce it, should be, like, reversed, like, the color of them? I always felt like Azriel should have red and Cassian has blue, but Cassian has red and Azriel has blue, and I don't like it. I just feel like Azriel needs to have red. I don't know. Does anybody else feel that way? Because that is what I feel. I feel like they need to switch out their colors. Sarah is a dirty, dirty woman. My God. Cassian and Nesta are just, whoa. Whoa. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, you guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about what has happened. So I'm on page 455 currently, and there was a scene a little while back about Nesta and Cassian going to this blacksmith, and I was like super annoyed with the scene, right? Because it was just like she was just hammering away, and I'm sure it was therapeutic. Okay, you guys, I wanted to take a quick break and talk to you guys quickly about something that has happened. I am currently on chapter 43, page 454, and not much has happened, but a lot of Sarah J. Maas's usual talk of, like, random things that she brings up. So one thing that was really interesting was Cassian took Nesta to this blacksmith, and Nesta was, like, hammering away on these daggers and swords, and it was great. I'm sure it was therapeutic. I can't today with words. I cannot. Whatever, it was good therapy for her, I'm sure. But it turned out to be something more, because the chapter I just finished, they started talking about how these blades were made like another blade was in the past, and it helped the High King way centuries ago, like, basically rule the whole entire land. And I don't know. Sarah's just really throwing some stuff at us. Like, all of a sudden there's these blades. I'm not really sure how a sword can help someone, you know, win a battle. It's weird, but whatever. The thing that's interesting is I feel like I recall that this was not the first time High King was ever mentioned. I feel like, at least in A Court of Wings and Ruin, they had mentioned Rhys possibly becoming High King, so this isn't new. I think it'd be really interesting, and I have a feeling that something's probably going to develop out of that in some way. Also, we have Cassian and Nesta getting steamy up in here, and yeah, they're definitely going at it with each other, which is really interesting. But a lot of other stuff too. We still are worried about Feyre and her pregnancy. Nesta now has one of the dread troves, and she can use the Maas to raise the dead, which is really interesting. They can have an army of the dead. I'm interested to see how that pans out. But they're also trying to determine whether they want to tell Nesta that she can create these type of weapons. I don't know how that's gonna go. Where's Moore right now? Like, Moore has not been in the story at all. Elaine has not been in the story at all, so I'm not really sure what's happening with them. Really interested to find out. I also skimmed, stupid, and I saw a little spoiler, but we'll see how that turns out. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, lots of stuff is happening. I don't even know how to, like, collect my thoughts at this point. I'm enjoying it a lot, and there was a couple moments that made me giggle quite a bit, but, like, nothing too crazy that's really making me like, oh my god, yet. So hopefully that changes. But yeah, I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, I low-key think that Cassian is stupid. Like, he's literally stupid. I am at the scene right now where he's telling... Sorry, my sister's in the background. I'm currently at the part where he is telling Nesta that she made 3 new swords. But he's doing it literally terribly. Like, terribly. And now she's pissed off because he's stupid. And he's also saying, you can make more if you want. Like, I'm sorry. We're looking for this dread trove because we don't want it to get in the wrong hands. And Nessa just made a brand new set of those. And you're telling her she can make more? So that there's no issue, possibly, of them getting in the wrong hands? Like, it's okay, Nesta. We're trying to fight a war here. And we're trying to get all these items in our possession so other people don't get them. But make more so that they can have some on their side too. Is he stupid? He's literally stupid. And being like, what would you name your sword if you had a sword? God, he's literally dumb. He's literally dumb. I love Cassian, but he's not as intelligent as, like, Amryn, Rhys, and Feyre, and Azriel. Like, he's just not as intelligent as they are. He, honestly, I'm sorry, but, like, he's the weakest link. He's the weakest link of their group, by far. Hi guys, I literally have tears in my eyes because Feyre again. God damn it. Nessa just told her that the baby is probably going to kill Feyre in the womb, and Feyre's crying, and she just basically says, if I die, and then looks at her arm. And if you guys remember, if she dies, Rhys also dies. So she's not even thinking about herself dying in the moment or anyone else. She's thinking about Rhys dying. And it's just the saddest thing. It's literally the saddest thing. Oh my god. Okay, I just had to show you guys my reaction. So that's all. You guys, Nesta's full on in the Hunger Games right now. Like, full on in the Hunger Games. She just woke up and she already killed a man, she stabbed him in the neck, and now everybody else is waking up and just slaughtering each other. Just full on slaughter. So, We are fully in the Hunger Games, ladies and gentlemen. Are we ever going to find out Reese's last name, or is she just going to keep that a secret for the rest of her life? I'm curious, very curious. I want to know his last name. Also, I'm really hoping that at some point there is a really good scene between Feyre and Nesta, because I'm tired of them fighting and I just want them to make up. So hopefully that's coming soon. You guys, I'm at like the most important scene and I cannot stop crying. Like, I'm crying because Reese is just like heartstruck and Feyre's like dying. And what's really getting me is this scene of Nesta telling Feyre that she loves her. And she's never said that to anybody. And I was just thinking, like, you know, there's a couple times in the book where Nesta was going to say I love you to Cassian, but didn't. And then the last time she got interrupted. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys have the worst timing. But it was perfect because for the first time she's ever said I love you to anyone, it was to Feyre. And it's so cute. God dang it, Sarah. She does this to me every time. But I just wanted to tell you guys that that's like the sweetest moment. I swear, sweetest moment. So, I'm going to finish the book here. I got 20 pages left, and I will check back in. You guys, I finished the book. Yes, I did. I finished the book. Oh my gosh, I am done with A Court of Silver Flames. It's so sad to be done. It's so sad. And I know, like, I'm in my attire for the video. I'm now filming my video for you guys, which, like, I didn't keep you guys that engaged towards the end of the book, but we're going to talk about it right now. We're going to talk about what happened, how my mind was blown, how I cried like a goddamn baby, and everything else. So, yeah. I have so many thoughts. I finished this book, like, literally a half hour ago, and my mind is still reeling. Oh my god. I loved it. I loved it. I really did. I was on the verge quite a few times of just hating it, but we came out strong. Came out strong with 5 stars, and I am fully happy with what Sarah has given us today. Okay, so I'm not sure where I left off last time on filling you guys in on where I was, but let's just talk about the ending. Let's talk about the entire ending. Let's talk about the blood right. Okay, so the blood right. Now I'm going to say it right off the bat. It pissed me off. It really pissed me off. Now, the reason it pissed me off is because I knew that the blood right was going to be important because Sarah kept talking about it. Nesta and Cassian kept talking about the blood right. And I get why Sarah went that route, but, like, I didn't want them to do the Illyrian, like, blood right, whatever. I didn't want them to do it. I really didn't. I don't like the parallels that Sarah did. I don't like that we had 3 brothers that were not actually brothers, but they became brothers because they became such good friends. You know, Rhys, Cassian, Azriel. I don't like that we had them winning the blood right, and then we had Nesta, Gwen, and Emery, who also are not sisters, but formed bonds to become sisters, and they went into the right and won. I don't like the parallels. I don't think it was original. I think that Sarah just threw it in there so that there was a connection between Nesta and Cassian and they could share something more than just their bond. So, I don't know. Disappointed with that. I wanted something different and I didn't want something that had already been done. Let's get into the big point in the book, which I thought the blood right was really like the climax of the book, and it was for like Nesta and Cassian's story. But let's get into the bigger one that you guys know I want to talk about, which is Feyre's birthing of their son. Oh my god. Okay, so like you knew that was going to be a big deal. They kept talking about it. It was a fear. It was like another little subplot that was happening in the book. And you knew that Rhys and Feyre weren't going to die. So I'm not sure why we were really focusing on that. We're trying to complicate things. And I think what Sarah ended up doing was trying to use that to bond Feyre and Nesta back, which is what I really appreciated about it. Not so much that you knew that Rhys and Feyre weren't going to die, but it was used to bond the two and finally get Nesta to, like, that was like the one breaking point. She had a lot of breaking points throughout the book, but this one was, I think that was it. I think that was the pivotal point, because she finally said the words, "I love you," which you guys saw, it made me bawl. And Rhys and Feyre have a baby. He has wings, and they named him Nyx. Like, how crazy. They named him after the goddess of night from the Greek mythology, and I think it is incredible. It wasn't a name I was expecting, so kind of like whatever, but it was good. And then in the last chapter, which I don't think this is a spoiler, if you guys haven't read the chapter with the exclusive edition, you definitely should, but this really isn't a spoiler. But I was hoping that we would finally find out what Rhys's surname is, you know, like his family name, his last name, and we didn't. We didn't, and even in the very end, they alluded like they were gonna say it, and Rhys is like, no, and it's like, Sarah, just like, this is like a key piece of information all of us want. It's not important, but it's important to us. We just want to know what Rhys's last name is, and she won't tell us. And I swear to God, if this series ends and she doesn't tell us what his last name is, I'm going to lose my mind. I swear. We have to have that, right? Is this like dumb of me to be so focused on that? Maybe. Okay, the last thing that I really want to talk about this book, because it's important. It is important, is the steam. Oh my god. The steam, you guys. Oh my god. The smut in this book is insane. Like, Sarah, whoa. It was on fire. It really was. Damn. I mean, the descriptions, and it was constant. There was no, like, you know, waiting. There was no chapter 55 where you were waiting for it to just happen already. Nope. That stuff was being thrown out to you like candy, and I was here for it, taking it all in. Loved it. Oh my gosh, the world building, or like the worlds thing, how the last, like the harp, I need to talk about this, I'm sorry. The harp had 26 strings. I don't know why I didn't pick that up when we first were introduced to the harp, but there are 26 different strings on this harp, and the last one was time. So I guarantee that one of those strings would take you over to the world that Sarah built in Throne of Glass to see Aelin and Rowan, and yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to be a big thing, and if she doesn't do anything with that, I will be so highly disappointed, because that is a big deal, and we still, like, the crown and the harp and the mask are still very prominent, and they're not done with by any means, so very excited to see how that pans out. Let me know your thoughts on that, because if she connects those 3 worlds that she's built, it'll be amazing. And I don't think she'll just do it in this series. I think she'll connect it, you know, like Throne of Glass, that series is done, but I think she'll connect it in House of Earth and Blood, in the Crescent City series. So yeah, exciting stuff. Those are my thoughts. Great book. If you guys can't tell, I'm amazed. My mind's like randomized right now because of what the book did to me. But yeah, I'm just gonna sign off now. It's weird. I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna end the video here, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.